Hello, my name is Imani. How y'all doing today? Hope you guys are wonderful. But today I'm doing a reaction to ABBA and Preach about why sex affects men just as much as it affects women. So let's get into it.
Hi, everyone. I know that it's been a really long time since you've heard from me. And when the news broke, I put out a statement that said everything I've done has been legal and consensual, and that's true. And I wanted that statement to speak for itself. But what I have come to understand is this was always about sex to me. My life was, sex controlled my life. It was my focus all the time. And I had a problem. And I do have a problem. It's not like you know, months down the line, you just kind of, everything's better. I need to do work on that. When I first started doing stand-up and I started getting a little bit of notoriety in my early 30s.
I want you guys to peep something very interesting this. He feels terrible about what he did, but what he did was not non-consensual or not illegal. Now, if you guys remember to the video I did, I said what Chris did wasn't illegal, but it was still wrong in the sense that there was no consideration for the people that he was being involved with. It was extremely selfish and was also a lack of respect towards himself. And that's the realization that he's coming to, which a lot of...
All right. So I don't know who this man Chris D'Elia is. From this video, it seems he's a comedian, stand-up comedian, and he had some scandals or something as pertaining to sex, but it wasn't anything illegal or out of pocket. He was just, like Preach said, ABBA said he wasn't respecting himself. And so now he's making a statement about his past and the things that he's done. And this is, I really appreciate that he's doing this, because, you know, it's this whole narrative of, sex doesn't affect men the same way that it affects women, and we're the key and you guys are the lock, and that whole bull about you can have a whole bunch of keys or something, but you can only get, please go away, because you sound stupid. And if you think that sex does not affect men just as much as women, I like you to try. I like you to try and see how you feel. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel good? How you feel? Anyways, let's get back into it.
A lot of men are going to live with at some point. When you are out there in these streets as a man, this is what I said when I said there's a cost, right? And I'm sure even for him, right? Like if it's not his friendships or, you know, his relationships, it's his mental health. Like it affects you. This is what I'm talking about.
You know, having got a lot easier is the, you know, for the lack of better words. And I felt lucky. I felt like, oh, wow, I don't need to work as hard. You know, I can just do a show and then have sex, or roll into a city and look at my inbox and then just start writing. And I did, man. I wrote, I know you've seen some of the messages online. There's way more than that. I would get at least 50 messages after a show each city a night, and I would reply to all of them. And I thought in my mind that being straight up with these women was the right thing to do. I'd say, hey, come to my hotel room and let's have sex, let's make out, let's do this, let's do that. And that was what I thought was right. I realized through all of this that doing that is just treating sex like it's casual and being flippant with people.
Ain't that literally what I said?
I didn't say shit.
Right? And I said it also last time. I said, you do a lot because you lack a lot. Right? You're gluttonous because of a space that you're trying to fill.
Yeah, definitely.
But the truth is, no matter how many ladies come through the door, no matter how many people you enter,
You're not full.
there's nothing entering inside of you. There's nothing that you're filling, right? So there's always more to be done.
And he said that it was
Not with the church. I can't take myself. Anyways, so people that, if it's not sex work, because that is a genuine field. Sex work, that's a genuine field. Okay, that some people are actually called to that. I don't care. That's what I believe. Okay, but if it's not sex work and you're just doing it just because, and you're not doing it for the benefit of the other person, or you're doing it to feel something, to feel full within yourself, you're not ever gonna get that from anybody else, you know? And just like Abba said, anything that you overdo, like anything gluttonous that you do, you're trying to fill yourself with something, but you can't get it from outside things. You need to figure out like what it is, why you feel this void, and then fix that, you know? Because I can speak to, like, sometimes I overeat. When I have when I'm very stressed, I overeat. Okay, when I feel a little depressed, I overeat. That is something that I have to work on, you know? And I know that by eating is, like, in the moment, it might give me this, like, feeling of, it relaxes me. But at the end of the day, the problem is still there. Whatever it is that I am facing is still there. So I have to work on that, you know? All right, let's get back into it.
everything is like a trap. It's scary the amount and how and what people are willing to do without you even asking. And it's easy to indulge in that. It's right there.
And the thing is, people think that once you ascend to that level, you've received some kind of God level of discipline, or that you're a completely different human being than the rest of the population. Not realizing you're just a regular person who now has all this adulation.
Yeah.
There's no training.
Nope.
There's no information out there.
Nope.
There's no really great tips on how to handle it. Nope. There's no seminar. Nope. They just give you lots of money,
and
right?
Yeah.
They give you lots of followers, and they give you lots of availability, and they're like, manage all this. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't have responsibility. It doesn't mean that this is not your job to manage it. What I'm saying is, there is no training.
Oh, and the thing that happened is, and that's why I kept on saying to you, I am glad that this is happening now.
Oh, hell yeah.
And not when I was 19. I'm not saying that 19 years, I'm talking about me at 19. I don't know y'all or none of y'all. Y'all but me when I was 19. I don't give a shit.
All right. So, you know, he brings up a good point of, like, when people get famous nowadays, I talk about this a lot. Fame and money and all of these things that you think is so amazing, it comes with so much more. It comes with so much more that you have to deal with. So this man is a well-known, I guess, comedian. And because of that, he is also attractive, you know. And because of that, he has women just basically throwing themselves at him. Now, when you're not well equipped, when you're not seated within yourself and what your beliefs and your morals and all of that, and then you get famous and you get all this money and all these things come with it, including the women who are just throwing yourselves at them, at you, you're gonna take that and you gonna be like, you know, you're gonna take it and you're gonna, but there are consequences to that. And so it's just very important to think about everything that comes with the next step. So if you are working on being famous, know that there are women who are going to throw themselves at you, okay? And if you are dealing with a young woman right now, she down for you, she riding for you, And then you got these other women who throwing themselves at you. You got to figure out what you want. Because these other women, it ain't gonna turn into nothing but a fun night, maybe a couple fun nights. And then what? But you got this good woman over here, but your eyes are so like, oh my God, it's a new world. You got to be seated in yourself, man, before you get all this extra stuff, because it doesn't come without consequence. It does not come without consequence, okay? And just as much as sex affects women, it affects men too, okay? It affects their mental as well. I have heard, listening to podcasts with men and stuff, with men who were on that promiscuous path, and they're like, literally after I nut, I feel bad. Like after that whole situation, I feel bad. Because they know that they don't want nothing. They just use her to get a nut. And then what? Like what?
Man.
Right now we're just talking about ladies. But you could replace this with substances.
You can replace it with food, with games, going to the casino, poker, alcohol, with weed, with anything. You understand what I'm saying? You can replace this with, and that's girl, but it could be anything. And it's easy. Example, you're a bartender. You work in a bar. You are the bartender at that bar. Okay? You flip bottles, ladies come and see you. It's your world. To a smaller scale, and it's your world. And it's good and become easier.
That's not the guy I want to be. It's not okay, and I'm sorry for that. It makes me feel shameful, and it makes me feel bad. People talk a lot about the power dynamic and about, why should someone who is a fan of yours have to worry about if you want to sleep with them or not? And I don't know where I fall on that. Especially in my early 30s, I would be like, well, the girl has the power, because that's, I want to have sex with them, and if they want to have sex with me, then great. But what I can say is the familiarity that I had with these women to have, I was like, oh, they already use me. They already know me. I didn't have to do the extra work. And I was talking to one of my friends about this and about the power dynamic and about the familiarity and not having to use that. And I said, why is that behavior not okay? Why is it not okay to sleep with somebody if it's consensual and they want to sleep with you? And he said, it's okay. Well, it is okay. It's okay until it's not. And that was when, a lot of it clicked for me. It was something that just became life controlling. I mean, I would think about it all the time. I would go and I would do my show, and like I just said earlier, and it was too much. And it became a lifestyle that I didn't know how to stop. I didn't even think I had a problem. I thought that.
All right, so I want to touch on what they said with, you can replace it with anything, weed, food, basically any vice, right? That is true to a certain extent, right? You can try to fill whatever void you have with something else. However, what makes sex different is that you're involving a whole nother person. And that whole other person has a spirit, And it's not just a physical exchange when you have sex, which is one of the reasons why, it's so, it is so, like they push waiting until you get married, because it is a full exchange of your mental, your physical, your spiritual, your emotional bodies. It's an exchange of all of that. And so imagine doing that with people, different people, every day, every night. I mean, eventually you're gonna go crazy, like honestly, because it's too much energy going on within you that's not yours, And then also, the guy had said something about, he was talking to somebody about it, and he was like, well, if it's consensual, why is it bad? And the guy was like, well, as if it's consensual, it's okay until it's not okay. And that means you want it until you don't want it. Because it's like, depending on the type of life that you want to live, that is only going to bring you certain type of things. So if you are promiscuous in the streets, you can kiss away marriage, you can kiss away healthy relationships, you can throw away stability. If you want any of those things, you could throw away mental clarity, because it affects all of that stuff. So once you decide that, hey, I want something else, then you stop doing that. Same thing with my when I eat. I've changed my whole diet because I know that I want a healthier me. I want to be healthier. But like I said, you can relate it to those other vices, but it's different because it involves another person. So it's much deeper than the other vices, in my opinion. We're going to watch a little bit more of this. And then
I thought that this was how it was. I thought that guys in my position were lucky enough and fortunate enough, and it was going out of control. I never stopped it. I cheated on most of the girls that I've been with. I cheated on my fiance now, and this is my dream girl. This is the girl that I want to be with for the rest of my life. And even that wouldn't stop what I was doing. And I was headed for you know what I was headed for? I was headed for this. And this needed to happen because I wouldn't have stopped cheating. I wouldn't have stopped using.
So I told you guys when I said there's always a cost. There's everyone, you're all gonna pay. Keep rolling those dices, right? It's like when you go to the casino, you win a few times, you're feeling good. Keep rolling. You're gonna lose. Cut your losses and walk out. If you made it far enough without taking, walk away, because you do not want it to come for you. Walk away before the house makes you walk away from the table.
You gotta know.
You gotta know. And this is what I was talking about when he said it just became too much. This is what I mean when I'm saying there's that gluttonous stuff. I'm not saying this. I've been through it, so I know. I've seen my homies go through it. I've seen the young niggas like ask me for advice, and I'm like, bro, this is what's gonna happen. And I watch it. So this is a pattern. I kid you not. Literally every dude who I've ever known who's got a body count or if they've done a lot of dirt, they go through this process.
You gotta know.
Yep.
So I have a chance here to, and I have been doing the work and being somebody who is a role model for my son, and I want to do that, and I can't stress that enough. I can't go back, and I can't fix that part of me, that hole in me that was trying to be filled with that, the loneliness on the road, or the fear that I felt, or the insecurity that I would try to chase and just conquer with sex, and it was out of control. So I have a chance here to apologize to the people who got caught up in that.
So somebody might be wondering.
That's gonna be the end of that video, because I feel like they touched on what needed to be touched on. Now, where I want to start? What did he say? Yeah, so there will come a point that the shit gets old. It gets old. It gets old after a while, because again, but only when you want different, only when you want different for your life, only when you see something else for your life. Some men keep doing that because they don't see anything more for their life. They don't see anything better for their life. They think that's what they deserve. That's all that they can attain. So they keep doing that. But when you want better, you do better. Okay? And then also, I do love the fact that he's holding himself accountable for his past actions, because just like Preach said, everything has consequences. Everything has consequences. So you can do what you want to do, anything you want to do on this earth, on this planet. It's yours. You can do it. But just know it comes with consequences. Just know if that's going to give you what you want. If it ain't, then you got to reconsider some things, And yeah. So I just wanted to make this because, as a woman speaking for men, of like, oh, it affects men the same way. And some men were probably like, yo, you don't know what you're talking about because you're a woman. Here are men who are agreeing that sex affects men just as much as it affects women. Because forget about, let's throw out all the physical, oh, we have different physical body parts, whatever. Okay, cool. But we all have spirits, we all have mental, emotional bodies, and it's affecting you in the same way with that. Okay? So you gotta decide what you want. Okay? Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next video.